Deep beneath the glittering blue surface of a Mexican sinkhole, a team of divers are surveying the ancient landscape. Suddenly, a woman spots a dark spot on the bottom far below. Swimming closer, she finds the entrance to a long forgotten cave and discovers a mysterious artifact hidden inside its walls. 1,000-year-old artifact uncovered in a sinkhole in Mexico has scientists buzzing. Long ago, this sinkhole would have stood on the edges of Chichen Itza, a great city constructed by the Maya civilization. Now, more than a millennium later, it's at the heart of a controversy, left in peril as a new railway slices through the land. But as archaeologists fight to save the region's treasures, some of its secrets are finally being revealed. And this artifact, found 15 feet down inside a sinkhole, is one of the most remarkable secrets of all. Unlike anything that archaeologists have found before, it's thought to date back many centuries. And with its discovery, a new window's been opened on the enigmatic Maya people. At its peak, Maya culture stretched across large swathes of Mesoamerica, including what are now the countries of Mexico, Honduras, Belize, El Salvador, and Guatemala. But though the ruins of their great cities can still be seen centuries later, much about these mysterious people remains unknown even today. According to experts, the first Maya villages emerged in about 1800 BC. There, the people grew crops such as cassava, maize, and beans, and their civilization started to thrive. As their numbers swelled, they constructed religious communities that would eventually grow to become the cities of a sprawling empire. The Maya had built several cities across Mesoamerica come 200 AD, ambitious in scope and surprisingly advanced in terms of urban planning. As well as places of worship, these metropolises boasted grand plazas and palaces, towering pyramids, and even suburbs connected by roads to the main city. Then, the Maya culture entered its peak period. Over the course of the next 700 years, the empire would grow to encompass around 40 cities, with the capital being Tikal in what's now Guatemala. During this era, some believed that the empire may have consisted of as many as 10 million people. But the Maya, like all ancient civilizations, would eventually fall. Towards the conclusion of the 8th century, their great cities began to decline, left behind to rot as the inhabitants fled. At the beginning of the 10th century, the metropolises in the southern parts of the empire were deserted, leaving only a few isolated communities in the north. So what happened to the great Maya empire? Well, the jury's out on the exact reason behind its decline, though most experts believe it was down to a combination of factors. According to some, the decimated landscape simply struggled to support huge numbers of people. Meanwhile, others have suggested that political and military conflict among opposing cities played an important part in the crisis. At one point, experts believe, an environmental disaster, probably a drought, pushed the already struggling Maya to the point of extinction. But they weren't completely wiped out. And in cities such as Chichen Itza, some 400 miles north of the capital at Tikal, the culture continued to thrive right up until the 13th century. When the Spanish turned up in the 16th century, though, even these remaining cities were but shadows of their former selves. And as the conquistadors stumbled upon them, they found little more than overgrown ruins. The surviving Maya, meanwhile, had gathered into smaller settlements, practicing agriculture and living simply off the land. While the Maya are considered by many to be a lost civilization, their bloodlines actually continue across Central America today. And they aren't the only reminders of an empire that thrived for hundreds of years. From Mexico to Guatemala and beyond, the remnants of several great cities can still be seen, drawing visitors from across the globe. Many of these sites are located in the Yucatan Peninsula, a large outcrop of land covering some 70,000 square miles of modern-day Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize. Once the heart of the Maya Empire, it was home to Chichen Itza, as well as Coba, once a major transport center, and the walled city of Tulum, which boasts a number of stone causeways. For well over a century, the Yucatan Peninsula has welcomed those curious to learn more about the Maya, from archaeologists to the tourists of the modern era. But now, its extensive pre-Hispanic history is at risk. Because in 2018 it was revealed that work would begin on a new tourist trail network across the region. Dubbed the Maya Train, this new route is set to open up the Yucatan Peninsula, connecting historic ruins with other popular sites including beaches. The ambitious construction project, though, will cut through a landscape rich in Maya heritage. And some are concerned that this will wreak havoc with fragile archaeological sites. It would be paradoxical if a project like the Maya Train, which is designed to aid tourism development in the region, brought about the destruction of the very heritage that could be of great touristic potential. Ivan Sprachk, a Slovenian researcher, told the Spanish newspaper El País in June 2021. At the same time, others have criticized the scheme for being of little use to the indigenous population. And while some have sought court rulings to halt the work, state-sponsored archaeologists have been surveying the land that will be affected by the Maya Train. In the process, they've reportedly uncovered thousands of historic sites. Using a combination of satellite imagery and laser technology, a group from the National Institute of Anthropology and History, INAH, in Mexico, scanned a sector around 140 miles long. And in that space alone, which covers just a fraction of the Maya Train's intended length, they gained plenty of insight into the civilization that once thrived on the Yucatan Peninsula. Take, for example, the elaborate examples of Maya architecture uncovered at a number of sites. Or the collection of ritual objects unearthed in the region, which spans an area from Campeche in the north to Chiapas in the south. For archaeologists, these finds represent a significant milestone in our understanding of the Mayan world. Both the immovable archaeological artifacts and the movable ones expand the knowledge about daily life and trade and cultural exchange relations that existed centuries ago in the Mayan area, the INAH team explained in an October 2021 statement, as translated by CNN. And with the excavations still in their early stages, more discoveries are certainly set to be made. In October 2021, the INAH group released another statement detailing their latest finds. By this point, they'd moved on to the fourth part of the proposed railway, a route running from Izamal in the northern Yucatan Peninsula eastwards towards the coastal city of Cancun. And there, in a buffer zone dubbed San Andres, they had made a startling discovery. While surveying this area, the team, headed by researchers José Francisco Osorio Leon and Manuel Pérez Rivas, identified a number of significant features. Alongside a rejoyada, a local term for a deep valley and a historic well, reports state, they also located a cenit, which is a type of pit filled with water. Typically, cenites are formed when rainwater dissolves limestone over time, creating deep caverns below the surface. Eventually, the fragile ceiling will fall in, allowing the water-filled pit to be seen from above. During Mayan times, experts believe these formations were an essential part of life in the challenging terrain. In fact, cenites sometimes offered the main access to freshwater available to Mayans inhabiting the Yucatan Peninsula. As such, they were regarded as holy sites, associated with passage into heaven. And this particular water source, located close to Chichen Itza, would likely have been a site of note for the citizens of this sprawling city. So what exactly did the team discover? According to Helena Barba Meineke from the INAH team, a group of divers visited the cenit and began descending into the depths below. And when they stopped to decompress part way down, they spotted something beneath them. I noticed that 5 meters below the current water level, there was a dark imprint on the stone wall, which was between 60 and 90 centimeters, Meineke explained in the statement. Apparently, the spot indicated where the surface of the pool had sat hundreds of years in the past. But that wasn't all. According to the statement, the team then discovered a cave at the depth of the imprint. And inside, they saw what they initially believed to be the trunk of a tree. A closer look, though, made them realize that the object was marked with a series of incisions, evidently carved out by human hand. Soon, the team realized that this wasn't a tree trunk at all, it was a type of ancient canoe. And with its distinctive platform overhanging both the stern and bow, it probably dated back to the time of the Maya civilization. Unlike their sea-going counterparts, these boats would have been used to traverse inland waterways, just like this cenit near Chichen Itza. According to reports, experts have given the canoe a provisional date of around 900 AD, during a period known as the Terminal Classic. Around this time, the cities in the south of the empire had begun to decline, while places such as Chichen Itza grew in significance, population, and wealth. Was it, then, a refugee from the south who'd paddled this canoe out into the Senate, only to abandon it in a distant cave? Or perhaps an old veteran of Chichen Itza, intent on making an offering to the spirits that resided in the deep? Though we'll probably never know the whole truth, researchers have still speculated over the purpose of this ancient boat. According to the statement, the canoe's just over 5 feet long and only 2.5 feet across. With a depth of only around 16 inches, it wouldn't have remained stable for long in difficult conditions. But on the flat surface of the Senate, it would have been ideal for collecting water or possibly carrying offerings to be thrown into the depths below. Previously, reports state, archaeologists have uncovered fragments of Mayan boats in places such as Belize and Guatemala, as well as elsewhere on the Yucatan Peninsula. But according to the statement, it's the first canoe of this type that is complete and so well preserved in the Mayan area. So what's next for this remarkable discovery? For now, the INA is turning to Paris's Sorbonne University, where specialists in dendrochronology plan to take a closer look. By testing the rings that naturally occur within the ancient wood, they hope to determine a more accurate date range for the Mayan canoe. According to the statement, these studies should also reveal the exact species of tree that was used to construct the canoe, shedding further light on the landscape of Chichen Itza at the time. Researchers also plan to test the substances attached to the bottom of the craft and establish the precise geology of the area where it was found. At the moment, though, there are no plans to raise the canoe to the surface. Instead, experts will use advanced photographic techniques to create a 3D rendering of the artifact, enabling others to analyze it closely from all angles. Reportedly, this will also be used to create replicas that can be sent out to local museums. Interestingly, the canoe wasn't the only Mayan artifact retrieved by INA archaeologists in San Andres. According to the statement, an exploration of the historic well revealed a human skeleton wedged some 160 feet below the surface and accompanied by a similar, ceramic figure. And at the entrance, an ancient mural was found daubed across the wall. Nearby, in the Rejoyata, researchers discovered a second mural, this time depicting a pair of hands. In fact, the valley was host to a whole range of artifacts, including a type of stone monument known as a stele, a knife, and an incense burner dating from between 1200 and 1500 AD. According to the statement, archaeologists also unearthed a collection of over 40 broken ceramic vessels. Apparently, these may have been shattered on purpose before being reassembled, likely during some kind of ceremony. And now, experts believe that the entire San Andres area may once have played host to a number of Mayan rituals. It's evident that this is an area where ceremonies were performed, not only because of the intentionally fractured ceramics, but also because of the charcoal remains that indicate their exposure to fire and the way in which they placed stones on top of them to cover them, Meineke explained. While study of artifacts such as the canoe continues in situ, various bones and ceramics have been removed from San Andres and transported to the Chichen Itza Archaeological Center. And officials at INA are closely monitoring the Senate, hoping to deter looters from further ravaging the site. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.